Hello, I'm Rida Fakhri. Welcome to We the People. Senators Barack Obama and John McCain have been fighting hard for women's votes in this American presidential election. McCain even selected Governor Sarah Palin of Alaska to be his vice presidential running mate. And Obama has made a point of addressing issues that are crucial to women voters. Today, many working mothers struggle with finding balance between work and home. The US is the only industrialized country which does not guarantee any financial support during family leave. Currently, working mothers can take up to 12 weeks of unpaid maternity leave to care for a newborn. Compare that to countries like Norway and Sweden, which provide a year or more of paid time off. Across the US, some states are trying to change that. We the People travels to the children-friendly city of Portland in Oregon, where a group of mothers are fighting to balance work and family.
This is my last week of work before maternity leave, and I don't know how it's going to go. I can have the baby anytime, so we'll see. You got money for the bathroom, Mommy?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you.
You want to try that again? Come here.
My name is Isabel Toledo Silvestre, and I'm originally from Spain, but I've been here 16 years. I have 3 kids.
Hey, love ya.
Bye.
Ooh, have a good day.
I work as a nurse practitioner in a community clinic in Portland. I think if I didn't have to worry about the money, I would have stopped working 2 weeks ago, but we need the money, so I work as long as I can. My salary is like 70% of the salary at home. It's going to be very hard in the time that I'm not working. It's going to be a big challenge, you know, to pay the bills, that's for sure. I feel lucky that I can take 3 or 4 months because, you know, my husband can work, find jobs, and some people take just a month and a half. I can't even imagine. Well, if I had to do it, I have to, but I'm glad I don't have to.
I'm Nina, I'm 26, I have 3 kids. Their names are Janaea, Jaden, and James. Their father and I don't live together. And he's been inpatient drug and alcohol treatment, and we had some domestic violence issues going on.
Come on, let's go in the house. James.
Go!
Check on your sister.
Janaea is 8.5 weeks. She was born 10 weeks early. She was in an incubator and she had some stuff to help her breathe. I'm a medical assistant in an orthopedics clinic. Since they weren't paying me, I couldn't afford to be off of work for more than a week. So I went back to work a week after I got out of the hospital and kept working until she got out of the hospital. I had 1 week with her at home. She weighed 3 pounds, 2 ounces. I could fit her, you know, like in the palm of both my hands. She's in daycare now with my other 2 children. I couldn't get her to eat this morning. I think she could tell I was like rushing. So it was gut-wrenching leaving her at daycare. I just want to be with her. I do physically feel like I miss her. I feel empty, like my arms are empty. Like I always feel like I'm forgetting something. Yeah, like I should be having my baby with me.
Hi, sweetie.
I have to work. I don't have a choice. I have to.
My name is Allie. I'm 32 years old and I live in Portland, Oregon. This is my husband, Noah, my daughter, Avila, and I have another daughter on the way in about 6 weeks. My previous pregnancy was a little bit easier in terms of maternity leave because I had my daughter in Mexico. My husband and I were teaching at an international school, and I got a 3-month paid maternity leave. It was a huge shock to come here and realize that, oh my goodness, I was living in Mexico and I was taken care of during my entire leave, and I'm here in my home country and in a country that is generally better off than a lot of countries in the world, and it's not available to me here. I do have 3 months, but it's not paid, which has been a strain on us financially. And I'm toying with the idea of not going back to work next year, which is difficult for me because I love my job, but essentially my salary equals 2 kids in daycare. So I'd kind of be working for naught.
This is the kitchen of tomorrow, a press-button dream coming true for Mrs. Housewife.
Decades ago, the wife stayed at home and the man worked. When my first child was born, I then worked and asked about their leave policies, and their answer to me was, leave policies? Women just leave. And I said, well, I want to come back. But many women were forced out of the workplace and never came back in.
Just 16 days after taking office, Clinton signed into law the first major legislation of his presidency, family leave.
The Family Medical Leave Act that passed in 1993 guaranteed 3 months or 12 weeks of unpaid leave to men and women. And it basically guaranteed that you would not lose your job because you were having a child. It was unpaid leave. It applied only to companies with over 50 employees. But we have not passed any other legislation to balance work and family since 1993. Yet our economy is showing that most women's salaries are 1/3 of the family's income. So if the wife loses her job, this puts a lot of pressure on the family.
And there's a lot of rhetoric in the United States that we want to be family friendly. We are family friendly. Families are great.
One of the most dramatic shifts our society has seen, 2/3 of all moms also work outside the home. And government must take your side.
But then when you really look at the policies that are there to support us, a lot of that is missing.
My name is Lisa. I'm 38 years old. I live in Portland, Oregon. This is my husband, Doug, and my son, Coleman, who's 5, and my daughter, Georgia, who's 2.
I am a blogger. I'm an activist. About a year ago, I started writing posts on a blog called Urban Mamas. Urban Mamas is quite a vibrant community with a lot of readers. We talk about policies that we'd like to see changed to pass paid family leave here in Oregon. We will get together for Mama's Nights Out. We will have mama parties. We have screened the Motherhood Manifesto now 2 times about working mothers' issues in America.
Parents are patching together unpaid leave, sick days, vacation days.
We have a bunch of events where we bring people together to be politically involved. It's a group called Parents for Paid Leave.
Hi, I'm calling to speak with Senator Gordon Smith. I'm calling with Parents for Paid Leave.
Hi, Senator Smith. My name is Lisa Frack, and I live in Portland, and I'm calling to ask you to support the Federal Employees Paid Parental Leave Act of 2008.
One idea that we had is showing up at the legislature, bringing our 6-week-olds and saying, this is my 6-week-old baby, and this is who I'm going to leave in childcare 5 days a week to go back to work because I can't stay home.
Are you going to make me cry? I know.
Part of the reason I was so surprised to not have paid leave was because I worked for the federal government, and it is reputed to have very good benefits. I took 12 weeks of leave with each child, but it was unpaid. And I used up all my vacation time and all my sick time, which means if your child is sick, you can't go take care of them. How's that? I like it.
And then when she went back to work, I took 3 months off. Ideally, we would have waited longer, but for 6 months, we were on one income. It was challenging. Got it?
A 2004 study from Harvard University showed that our country was tied for last in terms of paid family leave in the world. We are tied with Papua New Guinea, Lesotho, and Swaziland.
Canada has 17 weeks of maternity leave. Germany, 14 weeks at 100% of pay. Sweden, they have full parental leave until the child is 1.5 years old. You can start your maternity leave 60 days before birth. Norway is 1 full year. Italy has 5 months of maternity leave. There's a reason that every other industrialized country has done this, because it works. People need this. This is the right thing for the mothers, the babies, the dads.
We need to stop asking parents to choose between a paycheck and caring for a new child.
The resistance comes from the business community that simply does not want to pay. They want more and more productivity from their workers.
Now, obviously, people would rather have paid leave than unpaid leave. Why not? I would rather have a raise than not have a raise. But someone has to pay for that, and employers can only do so much. If these are important societal benefits and the Congress believes that's true, then let's figure out a way to pay for them through the general tax base, but not necessarily in the back of employers. Many of these European countries provide a much broader social safety net than the United States, But overall, we're a country that believes in capitalism and minimal government involvement. And that has led to the American job creating machine, which allows us to, in fact, provide the ultimate social safety net for a worker, which is a job.
The way it was proposed here in Oregon, the business community wasn't even going to pay for it. It was entirely funded by employees, and they were still opposed to it.
I would be quite surprised, frankly, if a state ever passed a bill based on a tax on employees. My guess is, in the end, this would be a tax on employers.
There is some momentum out there for this. There's a lot of people who want to see change, and so I feel like it's actually grabbable now. California was the first to pass paid family leave. Washington State and New Jersey just recently passed a law. Those are the only 3 states that have paid family leave, but eventually it's going to bubble up and happen at the federal level. I think in the next year or 2, under a new president, that's very possible.
Women are 52% of the population, and if we got angry enough and united, we should be able to have a huge impact on this election on the issues that we care about.
These issues we're talking about aren't just women's issues. So you'd think that solving these problems would be one of the nation's highest priorities. But year after year, it just gets harder for working parents to make a living while raising their kids. And that's why it's time to change Washington.
But the fact is this: when you cut through all the smooth rhetoric, Senator Obama's policies would make it harder for women to create or find new jobs, harder for women to manage the family budget, and harder for women and their families to meet their tax burden.
Obama. Portland is a very strong Obama-supporting city. If you drive around, you can see that most of the signs in the yards are Obama signs. Go Obama. You know, Obama rhymes with mama, so we call ourselves Obama mamas. She got it. Portland is a very kid-friendly city, but does that mean that you're staying home with your baby for 6 months? No. Does that mean that you can work part-time because you want to spend more time with your kids and still stay at the same job? No.
The most secure predictor of poverty is being a mother. I call it the mom bomb.
Regardless of your income, before you have a child, you have a set of expenses. And then you take half of that away, or more. And they go on leave and boom, there's credit cards. And that gets you into trouble. And I just think it's sort of a perfect storm for a lot of people.
Hi, sweetie.
Bye, good there.
Give Daddy a kiss.
My husband is very worried about our financial situation. We live month to month. We have a very tight budget.
Love you, Daddy. Daddy.
Oh, good.
We just tried to brainstorm, well, what are we going to do?
Daddy's going to work, baby, work.
How are we going to get through 3 months without 2 checks and paying our mortgage and all the other bills that we need to pay?
You have to help Mommy watch for cars.
During summer vacation, because we're both teachers, we're both off, so Noah's working construction. This year, he's working 3 jobs. It's very stressful for both of us.
Okay. When I teach evening classes, by the time I get home, she's asleep. I don't really get as much time with her as I'd like to. She's actually gotten so used to it that daddy work is one of the things that she says a little more often than I'd like. Answer to us. The last thing that I want to do after having a new kid is go out and get a second job. I want to be at home, I want to be helping, and if we had paid maternity leave, I don't think I'd have to be doing that.
It's unacceptable that 78% of workers who have family leave can't afford to take it because it's not paid. As the son, grandson, and husband of hard-working mothers, I also don't accept an America that makes women choose between their children and their careers.
I really feel like at this point I should be home, and it makes me uncomfortable that I can start having strong contractions anytime. It's hard to concentrate, hard to work at this point, you know, but hanging in there. Come in, take a seat. All right. Well, my patients come to me mostly with just mental health problems. I probably get a lower salary, but one of the reasons why I work here is because I can see patients who don't have health insurance.
The depression and the anxiety. I lost my job, I got fired.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's not going to be easy.
No.
No, that's not going to be easy. Work is very important for me because I see how for women how much we have struggled to get into where we are. Also because it's part of my soul, just do work for society. But if I have to choose, family would be my first option. Yes.
Fresh Oregon raspberries. Yummy. You go give some to mommy and grandma and grandpa?
If I were in Spain, I probably stopped working, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then you have 2,500 euros for having a baby to cover expenses. And then you have childcare, which is like $100 a month. ¿Quién paga la maternidad? ¿Con qué se paga? All the paid family leave comes from the government. We have wonderful support to families in Spain, and that's why we founded Parents for Paid Leave and Urban Mamas, because we actually think we can change it here, and we should have it here.
Will you take this bowl, sweetie?
Okay.
Thank you. For childcare, he's been going to the YMCA 3 days a week, which is around $600 a month.
Did you see a big what?
Now, as we have another child coming, we're looking at where to send them and what to do.
My husband has been working really hard to get some extra money. He's going to go fishing in Alaska, which is very, very hard. And then come back and work as a teacher again. 10 days after birth, you wish your partner could be there if you're blessed to have a partner. But he has to go and make money.
It's a lot harder for single parents to go to work and not being able to have maternity leave. I get frustrated a lot. Time is the hardest thing, trying to combine work and family. I feel like there's not enough hours in the day. I wake up about 5:30. I can't be late at work, I'll get fired. If you get to be about 15 minutes late, they give you a warning.
You can get ready to go, please.
It's like fighting with the kids, and
just wash your hands, please.
it takes a toll on my parenting. I get frustrated with my kids a lot easier. They don't understand what it means for mommy to get fired if I was late, and it's not their fault if I am, but it's hard.
Here, you want to wear this tank top underneath the shirt?
No.
Their school closes at 6.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Make those noises.
I miss her while I'm gone. She wants to be right up next to your body so she can get all of that good mommy energy.
Let's go.
I'm a big boy.
I'm exhausted, and I cannot wait to go home. Companies are stingy, money hungry. It's kind of like if you don't work for it, you don't deserve it. But I do my job really well. I worked while I was pregnant, and that's really hard. I was exhausted all the time. I was worried that they would discriminate, and I was also worried that my boss would be upset that I would have to take a maternity leave.
That means feed me, feed me.
My boss wouldn't let me stay longer than 12 weeks, and we needed the money, and we needed the health care. But there was something that felt wrong physically because of the nursing. It was incredibly difficult. It required dedication. It required a symphony, is what I used to call it, of parts of pumps, timing, remembering, refrigerators, getting your work done while pumping, talking on the phone while pumping. There were times I wanted to throw the pump out the window and just say, this is crazy. I physiologically felt that I wasn't supposed to be separated from my child. It just isn't meant to be that way. The baby wants to eat, so your body responds and your breasts are making milk, and there's a pretty strong message there. Your body is saying, where's the baby? And it makes you think, where's the baby? In the US, the breastfeeding rate goes like this, and then at 12 weeks it goes, because everyone goes back to work. If you work where you can't just vanish when it's time for 15 minutes because you're on shift, you can't pump at all. And it's a big sacrifice.
I'm not breastfeeding because I am at work. There's nowhere to pump. It's just too much. She's eating formula. I wish I could breastfeed, especially being a preemie. She should have all the best kind of nutrition she can get.
I'm afraid she's going to think the people at daycare are her mommy, not me.
The first day that I went back to work full-time after Avila was born was probably one of the hardest days of my life. I mean, I was a wreck. I felt horrible. I just felt like it was wrong that I shouldn't be leaving her so early. I thought about her all day. I must have called home about 10 times. And that lasted a long time for me. My mind was definitely at home, even though my body was at work. And so this time, thinking about going back after 3 months again, it brings on that sort of panic again of, oh my goodness, I have this little being that's so attached to me, and after only 3 months, she's, you know, her mommy's not going to be home.
Hey, sweetheart.
At 3 months, they're just not ready to be away from mom.
She's got 8 weeks to go. In a perfect world, women should start considering not working by 36 weeks, and they don't have time to just rest, get ready for the birth. I think that is sad.
Let's see.
Starting to get those good rib kicks.
Mm-hmm. Does it affect them physically? We're women. We can do amazing things. We can work 40 hours and walk out of work and go in there and labor 40 hours and give you a baby. And is it right? No.
There is a growing mothers movement in this country, and it's gaining steam. I think the momentum is moving from the kitchen to the legislatures and then ultimately to Congress. If Senator Obama becomes our president, there'll be significant change. And part of that was because of how well Senator Clinton did, and she had a lot of strong women supporters that Senator Obama needs to court. There are women who think that it takes a woman to help a woman, to find someone who's been in your shoes to sort of understand what it's like.
I don't think it takes a woman to help a woman. I think it takes a person to help a person.
I saw my mother, who was a young single mom, and so I know how tough it can be for a lot of women out there. So I'll invest $1.5 billion to help create a paid leave system across America.
If Senator McCain becomes our president, I personally think we'll have more of what we have now.
We have a new baby.
A baby boy.
It feels great to be at home, but the challenge is now is to think that I had to go back to work and leave my 4 months old with somebody else. I hope that the paid family leave passes in 2009.
I feel like we're as close as we've ever been.
There's a lot of gifts that we have received from women who have come before us, and if we can pass that on to those coming after us, the kids, the babies, and the moms, what a terrific gift that would be for them.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Rida Fakhri.